and we love his run block. You know, he's going to have to work on pass protection because they haven't done a lot of that there, but he'll do that, and he'll get that technique down too. Be really good at it.
And with Nasir, Vince was just talking to him up. Where do you see him fitting in?
I see him as a left tackle. He's got great length. You know, I think he's not even. I don't think he's done growing. I think he'll continue to grow. He's got really good change of direction, which is what you want out there. You know, against those best pass rushers that you're going to face at left tackle. So I see him coming in as a tackle. You know, probably start him off on the left side and see where he goes from there.
And with Sebastian, a lot of people seem to be, again, really high on him. The ranking isn't there, but a lot of people really like him.
Yeah, you know, and that's true probably for all three of them. I mean, I really think, you know, and whatever, you know, rankings, we evaluate talent and we trust our evaluations, and with him it's been no different. Eddie went down there, saw him in the springtime when we were out spring recruiting, filmed him, brought the film back. We really liked what we saw. When he went back down during the bye week and saw him again during the season, we saw a guy that got a lot better. So I feel like he's just now starting to kind of realize some of the potential he has. He hasn't played a lot of ball, so I think when he gets here, he's going to really blossom and develop and become a great player for us.
John, casual fan, you know, I can watch a wide receiver and say he's really good, same quarterback. What makes a really good offensive lineman?
Well, they have to be smart. You know, you got to be able to, especially at this level, get ready for adjustments, and things happen during the course of plays that you're going to have to, you know, adjust, go to the right guys, that sort of thing. So he's got to be smart, number one. You want him physical. You want him coming off the ball and knocking people, moving bodies in the run game, having a great aggressive punch and pass pro, because that's going to stop a guy's charge. So you got to be physical. Obviously, you want a big guy, right? You want size. I mean, if you look at our league, it's a league built on size, and so you got big D linemen. You throw a small guy out there, he's going to get pushed around. So they got to have, you know, certain size requirements. They got to meet certain size requirements, and so I think those things, you know, it starts with that, understanding the offense, and all those things, you know, probably comes with the intelligence component. So
You don't think of you guys as quick, but quickness plays a big
quickness for sure. Yeah, quickness for sure. Probably a little bit more quickness out on the edges because you're going against defensive ends who are lighter, quicker, faster bodies. Inside, you want more girth, you want size, you want, you know, guys that can, you know, move the line of scrimmage forward on inside run plays and things like that. And to do that, you usually want guys that have a little bit more, you know, size to them, a little bit more girth.
Has it become harder to recruit to, or more attuned to recruiting, because the trend seems to be the quick outside, the end rusher who's not the typical defense man you were used to years ago?
With a lot of the odd fronts that we see nowadays, the 3-4 schemes, where those outside backers are lighter, almost like, you know, linebackers, instead of the hand down big body DNs. Yeah, it definitely does kind of affect our side of the ball too, with the guys that we're looking for at tackles. You have to be able to get back and get in front of those guys, and to do that, it takes speed.
Philip Haywood told me that you guys talked before Belfry played in the 15 state championship game, and he said you need to watch our number 61.
Yep.
What did you see when you watched?
He did, and I saw a guy that was really physical. I mean, Austin comes off the ball. His first 2 steps are really fast. He gets him down on the ground. But for a guy his size, he plays with low pad levels. He gets underneath guys that are 6 foot, 5'11", and so he bends well. You know, so I mean, I saw a lot of great things. I mean, his energy just coming on and off the field. You know, as a coach, you pick up on that. He loves playing the game. You know, when you see a kid and you see him play in person, it does a lot more for you than seeing him on film and seeing highlights. I mean, highlights, you're going to see the best of the best. That's the best he's got, right? But when you see him in person, you see him even on bad plays. You know, you see his demeanor on the sideline. You see how his teammates are around him. And I loved all those things.
His highlight tape is hilarious. He's just pancaking people.
Oh, I know. I mean, you're right. It is hilarious. Like, we sat back even as a staff in mid-season, put some of this on, and we're like, and you can't help but laugh because you're like, he is demolishing that guy, you know? And so he loves that, you know. That's what you want on the line.
There's one highlight where this kid sees him coming and just falls down.
I know, and takes him out almost.
Yeah.
And but then you see him like 40 yards downfield, 50 yards downfield, and that's that effort, that strain that he plays with. It's hard to instill in guys. Usually they have it or they don't, and he has it.
How hard is it going to be for him to learn how to pass block since they threw it 22 times his senior year?
It's going to be an adjustment, but the good thing is, like, he came up over the summertime and worked with me a lot. So the first time he comes here and takes a pass, that's not going to be the first time. He's been working on it. His offensive line coach back home, even though they don't do it a lot, goes to show you what, you know, how he wants to help Austin. He takes them after practice and works on that a little bit with them, so that he can, you know, start learning it, and he'll get used to it. I'd rather have to teach a guy pass protection, as opposed to he knows how to do that and he won't come off the ball and hit anybody in the run game. I'd rather have it this way. So I really think he'll pick up on it pretty quickly.
He's the one coach.
I'm sorry.
Sebastian Dolcine seems like a guy that a lot of coaches are saying kind of flew under the radar, and that you're really happy to have him. What makes you say that about him?
Great person, number one. Well, he's talented, obviously. You got to have talent. We're not looking at guys that aren't talented, so that goes without being said. But I love his character. I love the fact that he's really raw and that he hasn't played a lot of ball, because I think his best ball is way out in front of him. You know, you get some guys, especially that come from traditionally really good programs, that are almost tapped out, that have almost reached their ceiling already. He's the opposite. And not that he doesn't come from a good program, but he just hadn't been playing ball for very long. So I feel like he's really got a huge upside. And what you see on film right now is nothing compared to what you might see out of him 2 years from now. And when he came on his visit, Eddie's done a great job of recruiting him. He came on his visit, and we got to spend some time together. And he knows he's learning football. He's like a sponge. He wants to just keep learning, you know. And I mean, you could sit down and get up there and talk ball with him, and he'll listen, and he'll pay attention, and he'll be locked in for an hour, 2 hours, whatever it takes. And so a guy like that, I'm just, he's excited about playing, and that's what you want. You want a guy that's excited about getting better, and I think he's got a huge upside as far as his athletic ability.
Was Austin the one coach who somebody threw mud all over your car on your?
Did he tell that story in there? Oh yeah. We, getting to his grandma and grandpa's house down in Belfry. There's one road that gets kind of narrow down there in the hills, so we had to get off to the side as another car was coming, man. And when he stepped on it, and I know he did it on purpose, he slung some, and we laughed about it. I got a picture where he sprayed my car off too afterwards. So yeah, he cleaned it off. But I mean, just a great family. I mean, his family. I mean, his mom Sherry and Derek, his dad, and sister Paul. I mean, they're just great people, and they've done a great job with Austin, and he's a guy that's going to make the room better. All three of these guys are. All three of these guys are going to come into the offensive line room, and they're going to fit in really well, and they're just going to bring a lot to the table in terms of their energy, and that's what you want. You don't want guys that are sucking the energy out of the guys. It's a grind every day. You're practicing, you're hitting each other, especially for a lineman. You don't get a lot of the, rewards in terms of touchdowns and things like that. So bringing guys in that are going to bring energy to the table, I think it's going to be a good fit.
Mark said grandma lit him up.
Yeah, she gave him kind of a hard time for that bowl game. So I don't even know if I can say on air some of the things she was saying, but hey, I like that. Austin's going to be tough because with grandma being tough like she is, he's got no choice. She's not going to let him come back in the house if he's not tough. So yeah, he did. She got after him a little bit.
Is the goal right now to redshirt the majority of the offensive line class?
That's always kind of been our goal since we've been, recruiting at Kentucky, is to bring them in, redshirt, develop. But we've also never told a kid that, hey, I'm not going to give you a chance when you get here as a freshman to compete. You always want them to come in to compete, and if they can help us, they'll help us. I mean, we've proven that with Landon, we've proven that with George. If you can come in and you can help us immediately, by all means, we're gonna play you. Okay.
What type of impact do you think the redshirting the guys that, the Drake Jacksons of the world and the Tate Leavitt, like, what type of impact do you think that they can make to the rotation going forward?
I definitely think they can make an impact. I definitely think Tate. The guy that a lot of people don't mention is Luke Fortner, because for whatever reason he may not have been rated as high or whatever coming in last year. I love Luke Fortner. Luke Fortner now, if I'd have known now, I mean, what I knew then, I'd have been more fired up then. You know what I mean? Well, I guess if I would have known then what I know now. But I'm really fired up about Luke Fortner. Him, Drake, Tate, all those guys, they're going to push. And they're either going to be in the rotation, or the guys that are in the rotation are going to be much better because they're pushing them. And so I'm excited this spring, to get those guys out there, see what they can do.
Do you recruit any differently since you use this rotation of linemen?
No, not necessarily. I mean, we're still looking for the same type of, offensive lineman. So haven't really recruited any differently. Like guys that we feel like have huge upsides that haven't, tapped out, that love playing the game. And I think if you look at our last 3 signing classes, that's what you'll see. You'll see guys that play hard, that are physical, they're big, and they're smart. They do what they're supposed to do too. That's another thing. They're dependable and accountable. And something Coach Stoops has obviously harped on since we've been here is being a dependable, accountable guy, on and off the field, and I think we're hitting up on all those cylinders.
This may be an odd question, but I wonder if your guys take on the fact that the NFL this year, a whole lot of the talk was look at every good team, and they all have in common it's the offensive line. Every one of them. Even Super Bowl. Do you guys recognize that and realize the importance of that?
I don't know. I don't even know how much NFL they watch, to be honest with you. With the demands that we put on them, with the demands they have in academically, they don't have a whole lot of spare time. And when they do, they usually probably want to decompress and watch some kind of TV show or something like that, other than football. So I don't know. I do know the group really has bought in, to raising the standard of play this past season, and I think that showed out on Saturdays.
You mentioned smart earlier.